Before we get into this video, let me just start off by saying that I want to keep this video classy. I did not make this to bash either event, to say that one is better than the other, that you should only go to one, because we all want both of these events to succeed, to get better every year so that we can all just enjoy more of this amazing animation community. So this would be my opinions and my attempt to do an objective discussion in comparison of what each event does well and what each event can improve on. I'm not trying to get into any of the drama. So with that, hi, I'm Sir Wade. Let's talk about the two animation conventions here in LA, LightBox and CTN. Historically, we've only really had one major animation convention here in LA that everybody knows to go to, and that's been CTN, and I think they've been around for 10, 11 years. I'm not gonna talk much about it because I've already made videos on CTN that you can check out separately, but this is the first year of a new event called LightBox Expo. Now, I've been looking forward to this event all year just to see what it was going to be, because I wasn't really sure what it was. All I knew is that it was a new event made by artists for artists. And I have to say, they did a great job. I knew a ton of great artists were going to be there, and what I thought was even crazier is the amount of sponsors they had. They had everybody from Adobe, Procreate, all the studios got involved in some way or another. Hi. What'd you think about Lightbox? I thought so. Now, from talking to everybody at the event, some of the things that everyone seemed to really like, first of all, was the venue. The event happened at the Pasadena Convention Center, which is huge. There's a lot of space and it was really well air conditioned. I know that was something that a lot of people were talking about. It was almost surprising how many people showed up at a first year event. But it really didn't feel like it was Lightbox's first time existing. It felt like an event that had a couple years to practice. They had all the tables in the expo hall itself in one building, and then the panels happened in another building, which was a nice way to break it up. I even wonder that eventually they'll probably even outgrow the Pasadena Convention Center. Now, another thing that seems so simple but I was really happy with was the check-in process. I bought my tickets the night before. I knew I was gonna buy them all year, but for whatever reason, I just procrastinated and I didn't buy tickets until literally the day before the event started. And so I showed up on the first day of the convention with my little QR code ready to wait in a line, fully expecting to stand for quite a while in the sun before eventually getting my ticket. And to my surprise, I walked right in, there was a little line, I went to the front, and it was less than 5 minutes. They scanned my code, they gave me my badges. And that was it. Now, as far as an objective comparison goes, this is a process that is not quite as seamless at CTN, and I hope that CTN sees the value in that and can also add something like that to their event, because it'd be really nice to have that sort of a check-in in both cases. Now, a pro and a con about the panels that I mentioned in the other building is I think on the good side, I think they had more rooms than CTN has as far as how many panels you can have going on at once. And that's great. The one thing that I think they can improve on for next year is there were quite a few people who were disappointed that they waited a really long time to get into a panel and then eventually got to the door and were like, oh, sorry, we're at capacity. So it could have been nice to maybe have someone there to tell you, hey, after this point, you may not make it in, go enjoy the event and you don't spend an hour online. Or maybe some kind of a take a number system where you can reserve a spot because you got there or something. Something that's not really a con, but was something I was hoping to see more of. There weren't a ton of talks for animation specifically. Now, there was a ton for illustration and concept art design, and there were some animator animation talks as well. My guess is because the people who organize CTN are more kind of in the traditional and digital art, fine art area of the industry, there was lots of that, which was really awesome, and I learned a lot. But I was hoping to see a little bit more character animation stuff, and I imagine as the years go on, there will be more programming for different areas in the industry, modeling, sculpting, texturing, whatever. But yeah, I expect that to kind of level out as time goes on. It really seems like everyone was extremely impressed, including myself. Like, we all thought that the event was extremely well done, very organized, and very laid back, but it was a great community event, and I think that's what we all were hoping that this would be, is just another place to have our community. But there are a lot of similarities between these two events, just in the style of how artists want to have tables, they want to present their work, they want to talk with their friends, and they want to meet new people. What I want my focus to be on this video is, are these events, and which one of these events is worth you spending your money and going to? And the answer is not something that I can tell you. You have to make this decision. For some people, they have been to CTN a lot of times. There are things that they don't love about it that Lightbox has fixed for them, and they would rather go to Lightbox. And there are people who Lightbox was their first animation convention. They've never been to CTN. And for those people, I'd say go to CTN this year. It's in November. Go to both, compare them, see what you think. Something I'm really excited for is to go to CTN this year now that Lightbox has happened. A little bit of competition, friendly competition, because both of these events are good and beneficial for the community. But they're both kind of competing with each other, which means that they both have to work hard to keep themselves good, So this is a great opportunity for both of these events to grow and challenge each other to come up with new exciting things that we all love. Some of it comes down to venue, and in this case, I do think the Pasadena Convention Center is a nicer venue. It's a little bit bigger, it is fully air conditioned everywhere, where the Burbank Marriott is a very nice hotel, but CTN doesn't quite fit in all of it, and they have a kind of a separate tent area which is air conditioned, but depending on how hot it is in LA, it gets a little hard to keep that cool with the amount of people and the amount of body heat. So I do think when it comes to the venue, LightBox has a slight advantage when it comes to the expo hall. However, CTN does have a small advantage because it seems like the rooms are bigger for the panels, even if there are a little bit less of them. So it'll be interesting to see how those things play out. Now, another thing I'd like to compare is the LightBox tickets to the CTN tickets. LightBox, there are two kinds of tickets, a weekend pass, and then each day you could get a daily pass, so weekend or one day. At CTN, it's like 6 to 9 different kinds of ticket varieties. It's a little bit more complicated. That's why I did a whole video just to explain that, because for me, I had a really hard time kind of figuring out what was what every year that I went. So the simplicity on this site is definitely nice. But I actually had an interesting conversation with somebody at LightBox. We were talking about tickets. They actually like how at CTN you can pay $400 to $500, which is a lot, to get what's called a VIP pass, which gives you more like front of the line pass to a lot of the panels. And there's mixed opinions on whether this is a good or a bad thing. Personally, I think it's kind of expensive for what you get. But some people like it. In this case, this guy was telling me how, if he's gonna come from so far away, he would not mind paying a little bit more to be closer to making sure that he can go to the things he wants to go to. Since that was the major concern of LightBox, is that people weren't getting to go to the things they wanted to go to, I can see that reasoning. Hey, quick thing I wanna add, I'm adding this in later, so different shirt, different time of day, you got it. Something I wasn't 100% sure on when I originally recorded this video, but I've done a little bit more research and I wanted to add this in. Something really awesome that LightBox is doing is they recorded most of their talks, unless the studio or the artist asked them not to record it. Everything else was captured, and they are going to be making everything available. So if you did miss a panel, if you were waiting in line and there wasn't room for you, or two things at the same time or whatever, you do get to catch it later as they kind of edit through the videos. They'll start putting them online, and the best part, they're making them available for everybody. And LightBox does have a really good website and a really good grasp and presence on social media, so all of you watching this will probably be able to find their videos very easily. As far as the comparison goes, that does give them a leg up over CTN, where it is harder to find what videos they have made available in the past, and I don't think they're quite as up to date about putting stuff online. But as far as my source where I got that information, I actually found it on Bobby Chu's YouTube channel, one of the co-founders of LightBox. They'd apparently done this like hour-and-a-half kind of LightBox Q&A that I'll link down below, and that was before the event happened. And it was kind of their expectations of what the event was going to have, and one of the questions was, will things be recorded? And that was the answer. So again, if you weren't able to make it to LightBox, if you weren't able to take part in the networking and all the just the fun in-person stuff, it seems like you will get to take part in a lot of the education and learning that was done there via those videos. Cool? All right, back to the rest of the video. But anyways, for me, the bottom line is that LightBox was a great event. I really enjoyed it, had a really good time. I was severely impressed with how well organized and how well put together and how thought out everything was. At least from the participant side, everything was so smooth. And as far as the QR code scanning and the check-in, the people I talked to on staff were actually really impressed with it as well. That, most of the time these people just get hired into an event. They don't really know anything about the event. They just get given their task for the day. And for them, it was, hey, here's your barcode scanner. Here's how this works. Have fun. And they're like, okay, scan. Oh, simple. So it seemed pretty straightforward for everyone there. And if you're watching this video trying to get an idea of whether or not you should go to a certain event, I say go to both. Try them out for yourself if you haven't already. I think LightBox did a great job, and I can't wait for year 2. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how CTN responds, because with 2 events at play now, there's a little bit of friendly competition. So I'm really excited for both of these events to rise to the challenge of becoming better for each other and for all of us. So let me know in the comments, did you go to LightBox? What did you think of it? And are you planning on going to CTN? If you have any thoughts on how to improve this stuff, just make sure to keep it constructive. We're not trying to go back and forth and have weird conversations, but if you have ideas, genuine ideas that you think you can offer a perspective, feel free to talk about it in the comments or over on Discord, or if you want to chat live about it over on Twitch. Links are all down below in the notes. But again, let's keep it professional. And since you've stuck around this long, I will say one more thing. If you're a student, if you're newer to the industry, if you're trying to get your foot in the door and break in, and you're wondering about these events, and you click this video because of all the drama. I know there is some drama about these events. Some people like one or the other, some people don't, and that's fine. I'm not gonna get into it. But what I would tell you is that you should go to both events. You should go take every opportunity you can to meet people and build relationships. And I have other videos on how to network and how to prep for these types of events, but I do think it's valuable for you to go to both, regardless of what you may or may not have heard. And if this is the first time you're hearing about it, don't worry about it. It's not important. What's important is that you put yourself out there, you get feedback, you meet people, and you have a good time. You become a part of this great community of artists. So with that, LightBox, I'll see you next year, and CTN, I'll see you soon. Subscribe and hit that bell if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.